Aloha, hope you guys are doing great. My name is Elton Rivera and I'm going to be showing you guys how to do a hair color and a cut. Let's get started. So right off the bat, we're going to start with Schwarzkopf Super Blonde Me Lightning Powder. And here I added about a scoop and a half. Here I'm going to add the developer. I'm going to be using 30 volume developer from the same company. Then we mix. Guys, make sure we mix thoroughly. We don't want any lumps or anything like that. We make sure we tap out all the excess product from the whisk and get started. Starting off of the crown area, we start to distribute the product evenly all around the head. For this application, I approach it differently, making sure that I create sections to move efficiently throughout the canvas. So before I started the service, I wanted to make sure to see what shade he wanted to achieve. In this case, he wanted to go more for a blonde look. Now that we're talking about shades, let's get into the natural hair color levels. So 1 being the darkest black, and 10 being the lightest blonde. So I have to take my client from a number 3 to a number 8 or 9. Now that's about 5 to 6 levels lighter than he is right now. Now luckily his hair density was maybe about like maybe a medium, and it worked with us. So I was very surprised on the first application how light we got. Now let's go back to the application, guys. So as you guys can see, I applied product to most of my canvas, and what I'm doing right now, I'm doing horizontal sections starting from the crown area, and I'm gonna move forward and I'm gonna make sure I saturate each section, and I'm doing maybe about 1/2 inch sections or partings. And every time I'm doing those partings, I'm applying a decent amount of lightener, because I want to saturate it. I want to make sure that everything is. It has happened in the past where I think I covered all the area of the head, and you can still see spots and little areas there where I missed. But this is all part of the process. This is all part of being professional and learning from your mistakes, so you won't commit them again. And I will be definitely applying this technique more often. So here we're about to be finished with applying the product, and I'm gonna go back here around the temple area, around the sides, and make sure I saturate the product good throughout the whole head. So one mistake that I did here was opening up the sections, which release air pockets, and you release some of that heat. And usually you want to keep most heat closer to the scalp, so your hair color or your when you're lightening can penetrate better. Anyways, going back to the hair color, it came out pretty good for the first application. It's pretty good. And here, guys, I'm going to be using a demi-permanent color, and then I'm going to be using Matrix Soul Color Disco Silver, and it's a 1-to-1 ratio. So basically how that works is, take this for example. The bottle that I'm squeezing out right now is about 2 ounces of hair color. So 2 ounces of hair color is equivalent to 2 ounces of my 10 volume developer. And this is what you call a 1-to-1 ratio. It doesn't always necessarily come that way. Sometimes it's 1-to-1 ratio, 1-to-1.5, 1-to-2 ratios. So you just gotta always read the instructions or the manual. So now for my hair color application is going to be pretty much the same thing that I did for my lightning application. I'm going to start off with the sides, and then I'm going to go to the crown area and do horizontal sections, and then move forward. So here I'm doing horizontal sections, and the sections now are about maybe 1/2 inch to 1 inch. And I want to make sure I get the roots, and I saturate them. guys, I want to take this time to say thank you for watching my videos and for supporting me. If you guys have any suggestions on what video I should do next, leave it down in the comments. Also, guys, you guys can follow me on my Instagram at rivera.elton, and then you guys can see all the pictures that I take and of all the upcoming videos. So here I'm just saturating the hair again, and I want to make sure I get the color all over, and this color does stain the skin, so I want to make sure I clean around the perimeter of the hairline. So my application here, guys, is done. We're gonna give it about 15 to 30 minutes before we shampoo it and wash it off. Guys, if you haven't already done so, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe to my channel for any upcoming videos. So here is the hair color. We're going to make sure we blow dry it and then start off with our cut. Also, guys, I do want to mention this is the first part of this 2-part video. And then I'm going to let you guys listen to my consultation right here. Like mid drop fade, right?
Yeah. So maybe a little bit higher. So
okay. For sure.
So yeah, because I still want to keep this length how it was and everything. So maybe up to like right here.
Okay. Sounds good.
Because if we drop it, how high can we drop it? To like the highest?
Oh no, I can take it like high here. And and then drop it here.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'll just take it high and then do a drop.
Oh yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Like a skin all the way to like a? Yeah,
I think so. Now onto the cut, guys. I'm going to be using my Andis Supra ZR with a 5/0 blade, establishing my first guideline. Guys, this is my go-to tool to do my first guideline because I feel like it gets a little bit tighter than the trimmer. So here I'm cleaning out the excess hair, and at the same time I'm paying attention to my guideline, and I want to make sure that it's even all around. So moving forward, guys, I'm going to be using my Babyliss Gold Shavers, and we're going to be leaving a 1-inch section. Also, guys, put it down in the comments if you guys would like to see a whole rundown of all my tools and what I use. And here we're going to continue to bald it out, leaving that 1-inch section. Now here's where we begin to soften out that line that we established. I continue to tap out that line and do very tight strokes. So using my Wahl seniors with my number 1.5 guard, I'm going to be debulking and establishing the next section. So it's going to be about 2 inches. So here I'm going to create my foundation, and I want to make sure that it's symmetrical all around the head. Now that I debulked and established my foundation, I'm going to be using my Wahl seniors with the lever open to establish my first guideline. As you guys can see, I'm going to be using my pinky as a reference. So guys, the haircut that we are trying to achieve is a mid drop fade. He's trying to keep that bulk on the sides, on the parietal ridge. Utilizing my number 1 guard with the lever open, I'm going to be establishing another guideline above the previous one that I just made. Here I'm going to be using the width of my thumb for reference. And I want to make sure that everything's symmetrical all around. As you guys can see, this haircut is becoming nice and crispy. Guys, if you guys have any questions on what I'm doing here, don't hesitate to leave a comment or send me a message. Now, using my number 1 guard with the lever closed, we're going to blend out the previous section. And slowly but surely you can see that our fade is coming in tight. So now when you're working with blonde hair, it's very easy to get lost in the transition. So you want to make sure you have a foundation and you're following a formula. So when I'm doing a haircut, guys, what I like to do is establish my sections all around the head. So I'm blending from up to down, and then after I come back to the same sections and I blend up from the bottom to the top. That's what gives me a better fade. It's just like cross-checking your haircut. I know that this technique is used by Bossio. If you don't know who Bossio is, he's one of the founders from Tomb 45. Go ahead and give him a follow. Very excellent educator. I've learned a lot from that man. Now, using my Wahl Seniors with the Eversense modification blade, I'm going to be using the lever to blend upwards. Now guys, this is where the fade is going to come to life. We've already established our guidelines on sections. Now it's up to us to make it look smooth. I gotta admit, this is one of my favorite parts of the haircut because this is where you can actually see how everything is tying in and how we're blending both sections into one, and little by little it's going to become the whole haircut. And I just love to see that. It gives me good satisfaction. Write down in the comments which is your favorite part of this haircut. Moving forward, guys, we're going to use our half guard to blend out and smoothen out the next section. As you guys can see, I'm using the corner of my blade to take out those tough shadows. Now, I do want to mention that my canvas had light to medium hair density, so it was a little bit easier for me to blend out those shadows. Guys, I'm always looking to improve myself. Write down in the comments on what I can improve on for the next video. I would appreciate it. Thank you. Now moving on to the next section, or the other side of the head, we're going to be applying the same techniques to achieve the smooth fade. And we're going to be taking out that primary guideline. And once again, guys, I like to work from left to right and leave the nape area for last because I feel like it's a little bit tougher to blend it out. And here I continue to open and close the lever as much as I can, switching to my half guard here, blending to the next section. Make sure I tie in all the sections really nice and clean. So as I'm fading upwards, I'm just analyzing the hair and what it's doing, and I'm just trying to polish little details here and there. Using my corner technique, as you guys can see, I'm using the last 3 teeth of my blade to take out those shadows. So when I'm using my cornering technique, I like to think about it like it's almost like a texturizing shear. I'm thinning out the hair. I'm thinning out that little spot there, a little shadow, to make it look really nice. So here is a little bit of the hardest part here. We're gonna be working on the nape area, and the nape area is a little bit tricky because thankfully my client here doesn't have a pronounced nape. You know what I mean? Like if you have a really pronounced nape, that's gonna cost a little bit more shadows. Thankfully, my client here, my canvas, didn't have that, so I can create that smooth blend in the back, which I love. Now with my half guard, I'm tying it all in. Look at how smooth it looks, guys. Look at how clean and precise it looks. It's coming all together. Yeah, we're gonna still be working on it, but we have that foundation there. So now with my number 1 guard, I'm gonna go and double check my fade. And what I'm actually doing here, I'm detailing, and I'm going to the parietal ridge, and I'm just detailing even more. I'm flickering out, guys. Remember, I don't like to dig in there, but just flicker and just kind of tie it all in. And here I'm gonna be using my shear over comb technique, and I believe like the shears over the comb, it's a softer look. It's not so much of a harsh look. I like to apply it first just to take a little bit here and there. We're being very picky and very precise on where we take hair off. Now, if you guys are wondering what kind of shears I have my school shears, man. My school shears have stuck with me for a long time, man. It's been about 5 years that I graduated IBA School of Cosmetology back in Maui, and yeah, I'm still using my Chi shears. I love those things. I do need to sharpen them. I've sharpened them before, and I just love how they cut. Eventually, I would definitely upgrade. I did have some really nice shears. I'm not gonna say the name of them, but in this case, I'm using my Chi shears, and I love these things. If anybody around Merced area or the Central Valley knows a shear sharpener, please let me know down in the comments. I am begging you guys. I need a shear sharpener. So here we're gonna continue tying in all the parietal ridge together, and we want to create that almost a boxy feel. We don't want a super boxy feel, so we're gonna soften out that parietal ridge. So here with my texturizing shears, we're gonna definitely thin it out a little bit more. And I like to use my shears, my regular shears, my texturizing shears, and I also like to top it off with a clipper over comb, as you guys are gonna see in a little bit. But those are my 3 main things that I use for the parietal ridge. I know I had a very tough time when I started out tying this parietal ridge to the bottom and the top of the haircut. So I like to just do the most that I can to make it look natural, if that makes sense to you. And then my client did ask for a little bit of texturizing on top, so I'm applying a little bit of sea salt on his hair, and I'm just gonna spray it all around the top of his hair, and we're gonna go ahead and point cut a little bit. So what is point cut? So basically I'm gonna be texturizing his hair and giving it a little bit more movement, more PC like feel to it, and that's what's gonna make this haircut pop even more. So after this, we're gonna blow dry it, and then you guys are gonna see the final product. All right, my people, this is the final cut here. I hope you guys like it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And remember, guys, stay tuned for the next part. Love you guys. God bless you guys.